Kilo November 4, Bravo, Quebec Alpha.
Roger, roger, sir. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor. Kilo Victor, where are you, sir?
I'm over in South Carolina, right a little town called Leesville, Batesburg, Leesville, about halfway between Augusta and Columbia, South Carolina. Name is Fred.
Roger, Fred. Well, you have a beautiful signal, sir. Just really loud, loud, loud. You're about, I would say about 15 dB above my noise level.
Well, you're hitting my meter somewhere right between 15 over and 20 over, so you got a great one headed this way also. Just heard you talking there, and I couldn't figure out, where is this guy from? He's got such a wonderful signal. Thank you for coming back to me.
Roger, we're located about 3 miles from downtown Louisville on the Indiana side of the Ohio River. Roger, roger.
Roger that. My goodness, you're a lot farther away than I anticipated you being. So your signal is so great. Propagation must be going east and west this morning.
Roger. Well, you know, I seem to go that way, east and west. About a 500 or 600 mile radius on 40. We go from up in Canada down to Miami, and from New York to New Mexico. So it works out pretty good. Now, you know, those guys like you're closer to the coast, so a lot of your signal is going out there, and them sharks out there listening to your your signal, just because you're geographically closer to the ocean, Roger.
Sometimes it seems that I run barefoot. I'm a believer in running barefoot, but and I don't condemn the ones who have power. That's quite their choice. But I don't have any trouble getting into pileups from Europe. I get in just as good as the guys with a lot of power. But yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon, was probably the best propagation on, that was on 20 meters yet. I just couldn't believe it. I'm new in the business, only been in it a year. And yesterday afternoon, I don't know whether you experienced it or not, but it was absolutely fantastic. It was coming from France, Venezuela, the coast of California. It was coming from every direction, and it was great, great signals. I hope you didn't miss that.
Well, I was running incognito yesterday. I sometimes just listen for days, and don't really get into it, because I can only process. We run QSO-VLOGs, and we are recording at this moment, but usually we'll do 5 or 6 QSO-VLOGs at a time, and then I have to process those, and so we may do like 8 or 9 a week or so. And so when we're processing, we're not talking, we're just, copying the mail, And so I didn't notice anything yesterday. Now, the day before, I had some 40 dB fades. Just unbelievable. This guy's giving me 40 dB, and then suddenly, he's gone. And he came back a couple of minutes later, and we talked a little bit longer. And then he's gone again, and he stayed gone for the rest of the day. I think I didn't hear from him anymore. So that was really unusual for 40 dB fade out.
I noticed the same thing day before yesterday. The propagation was good, and all of a sudden it would just drop. But yesterday it just seemed to hold. It didn't drop. It dropped a little bit from time to time, but the normal, but not very much at all. And I just enjoyed listening. I didn't do a whole lot of talking. I made a few contacts with some of the DX stations that I hadn't contacted before, but I'm almost 80 years old, and I just enjoy the hobby.
Roger, well, you have a beautiful sound, and you're running 100 watts right now?
Yes, I am. I'm running an old boat anchor, an old Icon 746 Pro, and I'm a Carolina Wyndham. One of those covers 6 bands all the way from 80 down to 10. So, you know, it seems to be doing a job for me, and I want to build me a beam. I'm sort of interested in one of these hex beams. But, you know, on account of space, and I can't climb. I got a wonderful tower out here, but I can't climb it. Now, I just hate to have to get somebody to do it for me. But, yeah, I have my antenna. I did get my son to go up and put my Wyndham up about 45 foot. So it seems to be doing the job well enough for me. I'm just sort of curious of what a beam would do. But anyway, I enjoyed CB for years and years, and of course it died out. I quit CB when it got such a mess back in the late 70s, and I was on the road a lot, and then I got into golf, and it took my time, and now I'm getting so old the golf game is not as enjoyable as it used to be. But this hobby seems to be one that fits me well.
Roger, Fred. Before maybe we lose conditions or whatever, could you come back one more time slowly and phonetically with your call sign?
I sure will. It's Kilo, November, 4, Bravo, Quebec, Alpha, KN4BQA.
Roger, Roger. And the name is Fred. And what's your location?
I'm in Batesburg, Leesville, actually about 8 miles out of Batesburg, Leesville, but for location, that'd be close enough. It's on U.S. Highway 1, about halfway between the capital of the state, Columbia, and Augusta, Georgia. It's right off of I-20. So if you on a map, you trace U.S. 1, you'll see Batesburg, Leesville, no doubt, about halfway between.
Roger, so it's Leesville, South Carolina?
That is correct.
Roger, well, listen, you don't need any other antenna, sir. Your signal is just unbelievable for 100 watts.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I seem to have hit it lucky. I really looked at antennas before I got my general license, and I just thought maybe this antenna would suit my purposes, and evidently it does. And, you know, I'm running it without a tuner. Well, the radio has a built-in tuner, but the most I've got, SWR, was like 1.6, 1.7 on the very top, or was it the very bottom? Anyway, it was on the ends of the antenna coverage. Up on 75, 80 meters, it's running close to 2. Down on the bottom around on 10, it's running about the same. But in the 20, 30, 40, well, 20 and 40 especially is the ones I work, it's just about no SWR. It has a slight slope to it. I run from 45 foot, 35 foot down to about 30 foot. And it just seems to work great. Thank you very much for the compliment. I really, of course, I don't know what you're running, but my goodness, you're sending a wonderful signal back here to South Carolina.
Roger, Fred, thank you so very much. But you know, I'm not kidding, man. Your signal is just amazing. So I wouldn't think that I wouldn't do anything to it. So I would just run it like it is, because you're definitely the microphone, EQ, everything is just perfect. So there you go. Don't change a thing. Where's the duct tape? Tape all those controls down, Roger.
A 10-4, that's a no-no. Roger, although that 10-4 is a habit, they're hard to break. Roger, I on your comments there, I really appreciate it. And look, it's been nice talking to you. I know with a signal like yours, you got people anxious to get back to you. Good day to you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and 73 to you.
Roger, Fred, 3s to you, and Like I say, we have been recording our QSO here, and we will be posting it in the next few days, a couple of days, on our YouTube QSO-VLOG page. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll bring up the QSO-VLOG page, and right at the top you will have see one that has 180 QSOs in it. And if you click on that, when it opens up, Art Bell will be at the top, and our QSO should be somewhere just below him. Roger?
Roger, would you come back with your call also? I typed it in, but evidently I got it wrong. Would you come back with it, please?
Surely, Fred. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
Okay, James, I believe that's correct. It came up wonderful that time. Of course, you prefer to be called Jim, I see, and that's normal. New Orleans, Indiana, is that correct?
Roger, we're about 3 miles from downtown Louisville on the Indiana side of the Ohio River. Roger?
That's all right. You know, I love that part of the country. I've been through your part of the country a few times, and I simply love it. I'm raised on a small hobby farm, and when I travel through there in the summer and see all the corn, we get out in parts of it out there. Lord, you can look both ways and nothing but corn. But it's a wonderful, beautiful, beautiful part of the country.
Roger, I think so. That's the thing. You know, as a kid, 16, I lived in Nashville, and I really liked the weather pattern there. And so later in my radio career, I spent 50 years in broadcasting, and towards the latter half of my career, I had the opportunity of coming to Louisville, or I think it was Boise, Idaho. And I said, well, look, I liked Nashville weather real nice, so Louisville's only, 100 miles, 150 miles away, and so the weather's going to be somewhat similar. So I picked Louisville,
Well, it is one. I've been through, of course, through Louisville a couple of times, but it is wonderful if you like snow. I don't care that much for snow. Although every once in a while when we have a slew of snow, we had, I never will forget, back in the 70s, I believe it was, we had 8 inches of snow, and that was a tremendous amount for us. I mean, people were, the ditch everywhere you looked, of course, me being an old farm boy, I could drive in it, I knew how to feather the accelerator. That some of those people were just revving and spinning and carrying on and didn't understand how to drive on it. But anyway, it's been fascinating talking to you. It's been wonderful, Jim. I hope to do it again sometime. Let me let you go this time. 73 to you, my friend.
Roger, Fred. 3's to you, sir. You have a real good afternoon. Catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
KC9VKV, Kilo November 4, Bravo, Quebec Alpha, KN4BQA. I'm signing out.
3, sir. Other station, come back again, please.
Whiskey 3, Bravo, Quebec Golf, near Pittsburgh, over.
Roger, sir. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
Copy their name here is Dick, Delta Indian Charlie Kilo. We're located 20 miles due south of Pittsburgh. And you got a nice signal here. So what are you seeing there on your meter?
Well, I tell you, it's coming and going, you are, oh gosh, I don't have my receiver set up like most folks. I've got my audio and my RF gains tied together, and just bring them up as needed to keep absolute minimum amount of noise from the front end. And but you are 5'9" for sure, sir. Roger.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the report there. Yeah, you got a good signal too. Yeah, we play with the AGC control and try to keep the noise down to a minimum. At least keep the noise below the signal if all possible. Sometimes you can't do that though.
Well, you know, copying sideband is a lot like copying CW, in that sideband does not have a carrier to quieten the signal. So if you're running your receiver in compression, you will be sucking up noise, channel noise between words, you know, since there's no carrier to keep it quiet. So that's, you know, unnecessary. You don't want to do that. So I just inject enough RF to get the job done, Roger.
The object of the whole thing is to copy the signal. Whatever you have to do, you have to do. And like on 160 at night, you got to do a lot. You don't only have receiver noise, but you have atmospheric. Generally, in the evening, there's a lot of static around. Lightning goes good. You know, it makes a lot of brawl. Anyway, Flex 6300 and Alpha 80B. It's an AL80B rather, not Alpha. AL80B. Antenna's an inverted V is trapped. It's trapped for 40, 60, and 80 meters. And it's in parallel with a 160 antenna. It's all on one feed line. So that's the story on this end. And I think your handle was Jim, but I really, I thought on the last QSO I heard your handle is Jim. I'm not sure though. So you might pass that along to me. This is W3BQG, over.
Roger, Roger. Yes, Jim is the name here, the handle, and you know, our conditions are such that you actually faded out. You did fade out, so that was at least a 30 dB fade out there. You know, you came back up towards the end where you were when you went in, but we are getting some conditions today, Roger.
Yeah, I noticed too on you. You were on the transmissions you had before this. You would fade down, but you never faded out. And you were way down when I called you, and you came back. Yeah, you were way down there, almost out. I wasn't too sure you came back to me, but you're back up again. I didn't look at the meter, but it's up and down. Yeah, it's up and down. And I heard you say you were in broadcast for 50 years. I've been in ham radio for 64. 64. I was never in broadcast. I do hold a second-class license. I used to do Motorola servicing on their two-way radios back in the 50s. I'm a technician at heart. Yeah, I'm a technician at heart. I used to hang out at a radio station back in the 40s. A local radio station run. It was a 5 kilowatt station. And it was low-level modulator. It ran, finals ran at 20 kilowatts or thereabouts. Yeah, they run about 20 kilowatts in the finals for 5 kilowatt station. And it was clean, good clean sound radio. The finals were running linear. So I am somewhat knowledgeable about the broadcast transmitters. Anyway, you say you're in Tennessee. You're not in Tennessee. I did hear where you were at, but it went right over my head. I'm getting up in age and not remembering everything I hear over.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's not necessarily due to age, but yeah, we're in Indiana, but we're only 3 miles from downtown Louisville, Kentucky. We have the Ohio River that runs between us, so I can see downtown Louisville 3 miles away from where I am, you know, but I am in Indiana. Now that AM station you were talking about, low-level modulation. Gosh, you know, that's how AM radio started pretty much, with low-level modulation. All those old Western Electric transmitters were low-level modulation, and there was always, you know, you had to be very, very careful when you tuned low-level modulation stations up, because they were prone to distort if you didn't do it correctly. And the main thing was that you just had to leave room in your finals to amplify the audio cleanly. And if you loaded it out too far, there was no room left for the audio, and it just crunched the audio in a very distorted way. Roger?
Well, yeah, that's the transmitter was an RCA. It was an old RCA. I just got the call for lunch here. It was an old RCA. The station was built in 1922. It had a pair of 892Rs in the final. They were water cooled. 892Rs. If you're familiar with those tubes, they are one tube. I'm back. Where'd you go, Jim?
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your ending, I guess. I thought that you were still talking and had faded out. But, yeah, roger that on those tubes, water-cooled. You were lucky that you had the RCA version of a low-level AM-modulated transmitter, because the Western Electric was a lot trickier to operate than that RCA, Roger.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, the station was built in 1922. I couldn't believe that the technology was as good as it was back then. Over.
Contact.
Roger, Fred. Go ahead, contact.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking. My name is Bob Columbia, South Carolina. And, transmitter, did you know of Ray Wilson out of East Massachusetts?
Sir, I didn't have that good a copy on you. Try coming up on that mic and let me hear you again, please.
Okay, did you happen to know anybody by the name of Ray Wilson on transmitters?
I'm sorry, I didn't, sir. That was a negative. I did not know him.
Okay, I'll let you guys get back to talking. Thank you very much. God bless. 73.
Roger. Gosh, this is KC9VKV.
Okay, Jim. I'm gonna let you go there. I'm gonna go take advantage of lunch. The wife has lunch ready, so I best go before I get a frying pan on my head. Catch you later. We can discuss this a little further. Nice making your acquaintance, and look for you again. W3BQG near Pittsburgh.
Roger, sir. Could you come back with your name one more time?
Yeah, the name is Dick, Delta India Charlie Kilo, and we're located 20 miles south of Pittsburgh.
I got you there, sir. And we have been recording a video and audio on our QSO. We have a QSO-VLOG page on YouTube. So we about twice a week do recordings of QSOs and post them. And so with any luck at all, we'll probably be posting our QSO here in the next couple of days. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the QSO-VLOG page. And right at the top, there's one that has about 180 QSOs in it. and if you click on that, when it opens up, Art Bell will be at the top, and our QSO should be just below him somewhat. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, QSL, Jim. Yeah, QSL. 7-3, and we will look for you again here on the band so we can continue the QSO. W3BQG near Pittsburgh.
Roger, Roger. 3's that away, sir. Have a good lunch. Catch you later. It's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. There's a station out there that's trying, but not making it. Try again. This is KC9VKV.
QSK. This is Whiskey 4 Alpha Victor Tango. Is anyone on frequency? Over.
Yes, sir. It's KC9VKV.
Well, my buddy from Indiana looking over at Louisville, Kentucky. This is W4AVT. I had a chance to listen to those two videos. The before and after were just unbelievable.
I told you. I told you there would be quite a difference.
My God, I mean, the first one was, I started at 100 watts, and, you know, you heard me, but I drifted in and out on occasion. Went up to my 200 watts barefoot, which, you know, my radio, the 1000 MP, does, you know, up to 200 watts, and I did that, and, I mean, you didn't really lose me or anything, but there were a couple times when I faded out, rather. And then, you know, on the second video there, when I was doing the 800, that's like night and day.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, it's mind-blowing, you know. And I think, well, I'm inclined to run with a kilowatt, you know. It just, in my situation, tends to make sense, you know, and obviously yours, too.
Yeah, like right now, you know, I've got the Kenwood TL922 Alpha. It's I'm probably doing about 550, 600 right now. But yeah, you know, the other time when I talked to you, it was probably around 850 out. And but the thing is, you know, I mean, when I'm up around 800, 900 watts, I mean, it might as well be a KW because I mean, it's going to sound like that anyhow.
Roger, Roger. Well, it would take a special investigator to document the difference between 800 watts and a kilowatt. I mean, there's just there's no difference. I mean, your meter wouldn't even move, even in a AM steady state carrier mode, if you went from 800 to a kilowatt. I mean, it might be not even a needle's worth of difference, probably.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, but, yeah, no, a friend of mine, W3DAB out of Rockville, Maryland, he went and, I'm pretty sure he had the chance to go on out there and, on YouTube and listen, and, he just, you know, it just was unbelievable. He couldn't believe it. It was like night and day when you listen to the first audio clip and then the second one, but, yeah, I love it when everything is working the way it's supposed to. It's so nice when that happens.
Roger, Roger. Now, just a philosophical question. You touched on a subject there that when everything is working great, your attitude is one of probably close to elation that everything is running great. Now, how do you deal with adversity when you have a problem with your radio or the microphone or the power amp or the antenna?
Well, I basically, I know that there's something that is not working as it should be, so I have to just, you know, take a couple steps back, you know, and like I just basically analyze every piece of my equipment, and including patch cables, you know, jumper cables and everything, all the way up to the antenna, and I just basically analyze and start doing testing, testing certain things until I find the problem. So, yeah, I mean, long time ago, I learned very, very quickly, if you get all bent out of shape or upset about that kind of thing, you're not going to get anything fixed too quick or anytime soon. Let me put it that way. So, that's what I do. And the thing is, most of the time, even if something happens, I mean, if the amp blows a fuse or the radio has something go, or, that something's wrong with your tuner or patch cable or SWRs are just not going down, or, something in the coax or something's wrong with the microphone, it's usually not something that can't be taken care of. So that's the way I usually like to handle that kind of stuff. But, when I was first getting started, I will not kid you. I mean, I would probably get a little bit more frustrated than I should have. This is like going back probably 20 plus years ago. But then I found that the best thing that can help you is knowledge, and knowing and understanding why certain things might happen, and then, figuring out, digging down, doing the research and finding out what it is that's happening and why, and then what can you do to fix it. So that's my long-winded version of answering your question. I hope it answered your question there, W4AVT.
Well, Eric, you did an excellent job there of answering it, and that is exactly right. I mean, this is a hobby, and once you assemble all the parts and pieces to have your radio station function as you think it should, and other people to concur, and Eric, I want to concur that you have assembled all of the correct portions and pieces, but and a beautiful signal that you just have to revel in the fact that it's all together, and if a part goes down, then you just have to say, well, there's tomorrow and I'll be able to fix that, and that's the great thing about the situation is that there is tomorrow, and you do have a chance to fix whatever it is. Identifying what it is usually the major facet, and that comes with experience, that you can diagnose what the problem is and set about to cure it. And you have to be that way, otherwise life gets to be hell for the folks around you. When you get totally wrapped up in your stuff, and you gotta to relax and enjoy the good times, and work on bringing up the bad times. Roger.
Oh yeah, Roger that. Well, I will tell you, I'm 50 myself, age-wise, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, I've been learning something new every single one of these 50 years of my life, man, and I'm going to keep on learning, and I think that really applies to everything in life as well. And I would go even further as to say that, this really applies within the home, as far as, how families, address, disputes or arguments or, disagreements, misunderstandings, or, one sibling's making the other sibling, all bent out of shape or whatever. I mean, it's all of these things that I think that we go through as human beings. Really, and I know it's hard when you're right in the moment of when these things are happening or occurring, but they really, truly can be learning points. They can be lessons, is what I'm trying to say. And, these can be, life learning lessons. They can also be character building aspects. I mean, there's just so many different, ways that you can really explain, like what we were, or what we have been talking about, rather, as far as how to address or analyze things on our various equipment that we have, various pieces of equipment that we have, when something goes wrong or isn't working right. I really think that really does apply, in our individual lives just as much as, in what we're doing here. So, as I've been getting older, I have been learning a lot of this stuff, and I will tell you that, I have two girls, and I will tell you, one of them is 18, one of them is 9.5, almost 10, and, though I might not be thinking this right during the heat of the moment when we're going through, intense, situations or disciplinary things, or, just me trying to, calm the one sibling down, so, the other one, and make sure that the other one stops bothering the other sibling, that kind of stuff. When I look back in hindsight at all of those situations over the years that have taken place, just right here in my own home, I can look back right now and I can tell you they have taught me more about patience and understanding myself more, and where I needed to strengthen in certain areas so that, I can be even better of an individual, and as well as a disciplinarian rather, and parent. So, not to get too far off of what we were talking about, but I really believe it does apply to everything we do in our lives, how we address challenging situations, or, things that, are not going or working the way that they should be. So that was a great question that you asked. I'm glad that you asked that. This is W4AVT with KC9VKV. Go ahead.
Contact.
Roger, KC9VKV. And the other aspect to that is sometimes you can get on what I call a roll. It's just like technically you get into a role that you can do no wrong. Everything you do is absolutely perfect, solves the problem, on to the next thing. And it's just, it's for a period of time. It might be a week, 2 weeks, but you when that happens, you just have to take advantage of it and stretch that time out for just as long as you can, and do all the things that you have put off doing, because you're on a roll, buddy, and you can get it done. So I just stretch those times out and to keep on, and I even get into the most difficult things that I never wanted to get into, because I know that at that time I have the greatest opportunity and possibility to be able to solve the problem. And so I do that, and I guess at a point you start to come off the roll, and it's important when you are at the roll. There are some things that are you don't have the answer for. So I just take a bag or a box or something, and I just put all those parts in that box, and I say, I'm going to save that for another day, because I know that I can do 3 other things perfectly and take care of those, as opposed to working on this that may not turn out at the moment. So I just set that one aside to my next roll time, and that will probably be the first item on my new roll later on.
Contact.
Go ahead, Contact.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking, and
I would have to agree with a lot of what you said. However, in working with things like your radio station, if there is a problem, it is fixable. Whatever, whatever it is, it can eventually be fixed. But what do you do with people that just refuse to listen, refuse to do the best thing? I mean, I got people out there in my relation that they're not doing things dumb, they're doing it double dumb over. You know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the wrong thing the same way over and over and expecting different results. But no matter what you have in electronics, it doesn't care whether it's fixed or not. But people are a whole different thing, aren't they? Go ahead.
Oh, Roger. Relationships make electronics in comparison seem like amoebas. Relationships are the most difficult thing in the world, and there are some relationships that you're not going to be able to substantially modify their behavior. I'm sorry to say that, but sometimes life is like that, and you must remember that you have to survive, and it doesn't do you any good to become so engrossed in another person's situation that you actually experience health problems, mental problems. You can do what you can do to help a fellow person, but there is a limit, and you must not get yourself in peril trying to help somebody else out. Roger?
So what do you do when there's no more else you can do? Do you just walk away? That's what I found to be the most beneficial. Go ahead.
Well, you can do all you can do, and then you just have to back away and let it, it's like, I guess, a soup. You can put a soup together, but then you got to put it on the stove and all that stuff, So you can chop all that soup up and get it ready, but you can't eat it until you put it on the stove. So sometimes situations just take time, and so you must be, as Eric was saying, you have to be able to just not to become so concerned that you lose yourself. You have to be patient. Roger?
Yeah, that would be for certain. I didn't mean to be hogging things, but my name is Bob, and I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. And let's see, I'm running barefoot now. How's this sound, guys?
You are 5 dB above my noise level there. 5 dB. Roger.
Okay, I could get the amplifier on, but God, I got too many things stretched around here. No, there are just some people that don't want to get better, and there's a lot of reasons for that. You go back into child abuse, you go back into addictions and whatnot. I don't know you can't fix what they don't want to help, what they don't want to have help with. QSL.
Roger. You can try to lead them to a certain point, but eventually, people that suffer addictions, you've got a real big road to hoe there to try to modify their understanding of life, because folks that are addicted, they're not addicted for no reason. They're addicted because, of circumstance and situation. And addictions, there's a lot of people that spend their whole lives trying to fight other people's addictions, and they've realized that they're not going to be effective until the person that is addicted wants to change.
Boy, that sure is so true, isn't it? I don't know. I did a lot of self-help, a lot of self-motivation over the years, and the book that helped me the most was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Did you ever hear of it?
I'm sorry, I missed that last.
I said the book that helped me the most was Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I was wondering if you ever read that.
Roger. Eric, what do you think about that?
Yeah, everything you're saying there, my friend, is right on the money. Now, the other gentleman, I'm sorry to say, but maybe I don't have good propagation to where he is located. I just, unfortunately, I'm not hearing him over the noise floor. It's not a big noise floor, but, you know, I don't know, I guess maybe I have about, you know, 3 S units noise floor level right now, which really isn't that bad, but yeah, just if you could just let him know that, though, or if he hears me, you know, just that's the case. But I kind of was getting the gist of, you know, what he was, you know, talking to you about based on, you know, what you were sharing back with him. And yeah, I mean, if you're talking about someone who has any kind of addiction, you know, you can help them only so much before it really has to become their decision deep down inside. Yeah, that's like a mind and spirit and soul kind of thing there. You know, they got to want to, you know, fix and correct whatever it is that they're having a problem with or an addiction with that is probably most likely affecting everyone around them. And, you know, sometimes, you know, that means going to a facility where, they can get help for a while and rehabilitate and then come out a totally new person and, you know, get plugged in with very nice quality people. You know, first place comes to my mind is, you know, go to church, you know, get plugged in with some groups that, they would, maybe be interested in being a part of, and, you know, just always be praying. I think prayer never hurt anyone, and I'll tell you, it does work. I'm a living testament to that, I can tell you. I can't, I don't want to get into it here, you know, on the radio, but I mean, I can tell you, I've been through enough different, you know, situations over my lifetime that, you know, prayer and the big man upstairs were a big part of getting me through all of it. So, but anyway, that's you know, what I would say to you. You can't, you know, as much as you want to help someone, and that is a wonderful thing to have a helpful spirit and heart inside of you. You know, there has to come a time when, you know, that person has to take, you know, control of whatever it is that they're attached to or addicted to, and, you know, put their foot down and say, okay, you know, this really is enough, you know, and I got to do something about it. Because, you see, if you don't, believe it or not, before you can even blink your eyes a few times, you know, it can really end up affecting you in such a bad way that your health goes downhill. And you just, no one needs to, sit there and allow that to happen. As much as you love and care for that person and want to help that person, and I'm definitely not saying not to. I mean, you definitely do. That's a wonderful thing, you know, when there are people that really want to, you know, try and help another person that is in that kind of situation. But, you know, just don't allow it to overcome you, because then now you have two people that are in tough shape. And, you know, two people is worse than one person. So, you know, if it were me and I were in your shoes, I would really, you know, sit down with that person and help them to understand that, you know, whatever it is that they're involved with, or the addiction is, you know, it ain't doing them any good, and it's only making them worse. And if they want to be around in a few years from now, they might want to really think very seriously about getting help for themselves. And you could even, you know, try and help find, you know, some professional people that could, in fact, help that person. And then, you know, also, this is just my Christian side coming out, but I would suggest they get plugged in with a church and start doing a lot of power praying, because I will tell you, my friend, God is up there, and He's ready to listen. No doubt about it. I can tell you, He's listened to thousands of prayers for me, so, and I'm happy to report He's answered them. So, there you go. But, I hope that's helpful. This is Whiskey 4 Alpha Victor Tango. The name is Eric. I'm out of Sterling, Virginia. Over to whoever is next in line. Over.
52 you-knows in that, good God.
Well, it's a favorite term of expression. You know? Hey, who made you grammar queen? What about the other person down there that we were speaking with?
Okay, this is Bob November in the 8 Alpha. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is true, and, it is hard, especially when it turns out to be kids themselves. And it's even harder because, you don't know, you don't have all the answers, but the ones they're writing on, that certainly isn't. And as far as addiction is concerned, they always are rooted in the fact that it feels good, Well, not always, though. You got people that like to do themselves harm, but you're saying that it's harm. But is it really to them? If they think they deserve it, then maybe that's the best thing that they think they're doing for themselves. I don't know. I'm 73 years old, and there are just people out there that you just can't turn, and I just try to walk away as much as I can. Everything I've had in therapy says the same thing. Do as much as you can, and then you have to get away from them, or they will take you down. QSL?
Oh, absolutely correct, Bob. And Bob, could you come back with your call sign slowly and phonetically?
Sure. November, India, 8, Alpha, NI8A. We're snowbirds out of Mexican. Go ahead.
Roger. And what's your QTH?
Right now we're around Columbia, 40 miles west of Columbia, in a little town called Pelion, No Place, South Carolina. Go ahead.
Roger that. Well, that's, I appreciate that. And we are rolling QSO-VLOGs for YouTube, and we'll be posting this in the next couple of days. So if you get a chance, Bob, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to the QSO-VLOG page, and right at the top there's one that is a list that has about 180 QSOs on it, and if you click on that, when it opens up, this conversation should be just under Art Bell. Roger?
Art Bell had a wonderful radio coast to coast, didn't he?
Roger, yes, he just passed away that last few days.
I'm sorry to hear that, but you can just tell by some people. Another one that I always liked was, it's coming to me. Norman Vincent Peale was good, and I can see him right there. He used to do all the Charles, he used to do all the, I can't think of this guy now. Boy, it's getting to be bad, but, well, go ahead. I'll think of him later. Go ahead, sir.
Roger, Bob. We're going to have to jump out of here. Eric, good to hear you in there, in your your great signal. I'm still dumbfounded by it. But anyway, we're going to jump out and get some lunch. We'll say threes, Eric, and maybe catch you down the channel. We usually hang out between here and there. So if you hear us, give us a shout. This is KC9VKV.
Yeah, okay, real good there, KC9VKV from W4ABT, and yeah, believe me, I'm still dumbfounded too. I can't believe, I always go back to March 23rd when I think that was the first time I spoke with you, and then, 3 weeks later I'm talking to you on the Kenwood amp, and it's like night and day, and yeah, it's just, I love this amp too. It's really easy to tune up. I'll tell you what, for that matter, I would say that the SB220 also is a very user-friendly amp as well. I think I told you I have one of those, on another table behind me here in my radio room. I haven't gotten around to hooking it up to my Yaesu FT950 that I'm going to hook it up to, but yeah, I love that amplifier too. That's a very nice amp as well, and I think that's what you're using. I mean, it's a great amp. I really like the SB220. I really do. But anyway, Yeah, did you say that you're going to have a recording of our conversation today on YouTube? That would be so cool if that's true.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, I'm rolling tape, man, and I'll probably have it uploaded in the next couple of days. Not sure exactly. Your call sign will be in there, so you'll see that, and I may have to put the other folks' call signs inside and in the tags, you know, because you can only get so much verbiage on the title line, Roger.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Well, I'm sure that when that gentleman Bob goes in there and he finds it and opens it up, he'll hear himself in there with the conversation, and as long as that's the case, man, I'm sure he'll be happy as heck to just to hear himself there on a video, audio video, I guess you should call it. But yeah, okay. Well, I'll let you go. Yeah, it is about that time to eat, isn't it? So yeah, okay, buddy. Well, I'm not even going to ask. I don't even have to ask about signal reports anymore. So I will not ask you about signal reports. There's no need to. And you sounded great this morning, my friend. So 73s, my friend. Have a good rest of the day. We'll catch you in here again maybe tomorrow morning. So take care. And 73 from Sterling, Virginia, W4ABT. We'll be clear.
Roger, Roger, Eric. 3's underway, sir. Headed for the lunch table. Catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
W4ABT, we're clear.
Yeah, okay, for what it's worth, the other guy I was really always like to listen to was Bill Moyer. You probably heard of him, haven't you?